Hi, I'm John Karina, and this is Karina San Martin.
Back again.
And we are here at the drop.
Yes.
Dropping truth and bringing life. We're doing both.
We're doing that. We are doing it.
So anyhow, we started this little teaching series called Stay in the Game.
Yeah.
And we talked a lot about that on the last episode. Man, I encourage you to get that one.
Yes.
Go back and get it because that was so good. It's so encouraging. It'll lift you up. But today, we're going to talk a little bit about playing with pain.
Okay.
I think you know a little bit about that.
Oh my gosh, so many aspects of life that I've experienced that bring that that to attention. Yes, but it's funny because there's all sorts of things that we experience as we go through life, and a lot of times you don't realize how good it was for you till you're out of it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
of course.
And but I remember
especially when you're pushing for 40.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
40 years old.
I know. I know. Don't remind me.
All right. We keep going.
My children have started calling me old, which is very not cool. But anyways. So I remember a long time ago, for those of you who don't know, I used to be the youth pastor here for a season, and I started when I was 19 years old. I was such a baby.
Yeah.
But long story short,
you were wise beyond your years.
Yes, and I was going to Bible school while I was doing it. So I was in the fire all the way, experiencing and learning about it at the same time, which was actually pretty cool. Yeah. But anyways, so I remember I took the youth group, and it was kind of a smaller group, maybe like 4 or 5 kids, and somehow we met this other I met this other youth pastor, and long story short, he was leaving his church, and there were a couple of his core kids that were really connected to him and wanted to come with him. Yeah. So he wanted to come here to Oasis and help out with the youth. Yeah. And so I was like, okay, yeah, sure, bring the kids. And anyways, it was a very it was a group of kids that was very I wasn't used to this type of kids.
Intense.
They were really intense.
Urban kids.
They were really very
so a lot of broken homes.
And broken families, broken homes, hard lives, great
hard lives.
Great kids.
That's a good way of putting it.
Great kids.
Very good
and most of them were boys.
Great heart, yeah.
Yeah, and so I'm this happy, which a lot of them saw me as the little happy, white girl youth pastor, and it was very contrasting, which I think now that I look back, I just see God in it for everybody, but it was very hard. A lot of them were very hard to deal with because of very valid reasons. Just brokenness and
families.
And I just remember thinking this is not quite what I signed up for. I don't know this life.
Culture,
I don't know how to help them.
Culture,
I don't know. But it's almost like the Lord was like, you know what? You have what they need right now.
You got a baptism of
fire.
I
did. And I remember telling you guys, it's so hard. They don't listen. They don't this, they don't that. And it's they don't even want to be there. I don't understand. But with time, as time passed, that whole dynamic totally changed. And
exactly.
Their hearts were really touched and connected with God, and then also with me, and vice versa. So the Lord was totally in it. But at first, I was like,
it was painful.
I was like, this is literally the worst idea ever.
It was painful.
I wish this never happened. But it ended up being a pretty beautiful thing.
Yeah,
so.
It did.
But I didn't see it at the time.
Yeah. But the point being is that you stayed in the game.
Yeah.
Even though there was pain in it.
There was pain, there was uncomfortability, there was questioning, there was wanting to quit. There was kicking kids out. There was
that's right.
Go wait in the hallway, There was a lot of a lot of things.
It was intense.
It was intense.
It was. And I think the scripture talks about that.
Yeah.
and the scripture talks about these specific seasons in life where we feel, man, it's just caving in all around me,
Yeah.
you know, and the
Yeah.
Apostle Paul says something about that in 2 Corinthians 4, verse 8 and 10. And I like to read it because it's so appropriate. He said, we are hard pressed on every side. Think about it.
Yeah.
But we're not crushed.
That's right.
Perplexed, but we're not in despair. Persecuted, but not abandoned. Struck down, but not destroyed. We always carry around in our body the death of Jesus Christ, so that the life of Jesus may also be revealed in our body. And when you think about that, the guy is saying, everywhere I turn is hard.
Yeah. Yeah, on every side.
Everywhere I go is hard.
Yeah.
You know, everywhere I go, I feel attacked, persecuted. You know, think about it. I mean, he was stoned, you know, put in jail, left for dead, you know, and the guy is like, but guess what? I see the bright side of it.
Yeah,
I see
that's
the
good.
upside of
Right,
it.
yeah.
That if I'm experiencing this pain,
Yeah.
I'm also going to experience the resurrection power.
Yeah, that's
you
so
know?
good.
In
That's
other
so
words,
good.
something is going to be birthed out of me
Yeah.
as a result of this painful experience.
Yeah.
You know, and it's not that God sends pain to us.
Right.
You know, it's just that life has a way of bringing pain.
Yeah.
You know, it's
yeah.
just the nature of living.
Yeah.
And I think that life comes through pain, and life also comes through wisdom and understanding and learning from other people's experience. But just because we're Christian doesn't mean we're exempt from pain.
That's right.
You know,
That's
it's just going to happen as part of life.
Yeah.
And I think that if we keep our perspective, instead of looking on the downside of it, we can look at the upside of it. Something good's going to happen.
Yeah.
As a result of all this, I just have to stay in the game.
That's right. Yeah.
And even if it hurts, I
Right.
just got to keep on.
Yeah, yeah. And I think we have to remember that, just like you were saying, you know, I was like, that's so true. Like, life is life for everybody. You know, like, no matter who you are, where you are, like, everyone experiences these difficult times or difficult moments. They just look different, you know? And I think, like, but what I was thinking when you were talking, I was like, man, but I'm so grateful that I have a set of tools that are different because I follow Christ, because Christ is present in my heart and in my life. You know, like he was saying here, we always carry around in our body the death of Jesus so that the life of Jesus can also be revealed in us. And so I think, like, we have to remind ourselves, like, yes, I'm dealing with this situation or this hard thing or whatever it is.
Sure.
But we always have that but I have Christ.
Yeah.
You know, I have something different than maybe the person that I work with.
And when you think about it, you know, even philosophically, you know, when something dies because life is coming. In other words, for life to come, something has to die. Think about, you sow the seed in the ground. Yeah. That seed has to die for life to come through. You know, you want to build a new building, you got to tear down the old building. You know, you want to have a child being born. Yeah. Well, get ready for some tremendous painful experience. Yeah. Unless you have...
First thing is you're going to learn to die to yourself. That's the first thing that's going to die, okay?
That's right. So, you know, when you think about it, you know, if you want your marriage to get better because it's in trouble, then you have to die to your selfishness, you know? So, I mean, you know, sometimes, sometimes we amaze ourselves. And sometimes I look at myself and say, wait a minute, what do you think? Yeah. What do you think, that everything's gonna be right
in the park,
easy road, walk in the park? You know, come on, wake up, man. This is real life, you know.
Exactly.
So if you just depend on feeling well, having all the money, you know, everything lining up and being right,
everything
you know,
is beautiful all the time.
Oh man, that would be. You just stay home and do nothing, you know? There's always going to be challenge, obstacles. You know, here's what gets me sometimes in church. You know, church work is interesting.
Yes, it is.
But here's what gets me. People say, oh, you know, Pastor, I can't help out because I got some problems.
Oh, yeah.
I'm like, well, you know what, honey, join the club.
Yeah, yeah. Oh yeah. And I think that is such a common mentality.
Right?
I think more than anything, it has to do with how we see ourselves. You know, like we see ourselves as like, well, if I'm not at a certain place of goodness or, you know, processing things well, or like on the top of the mountain, what do I have to give, or what do I have to offer, you know? And that's not even like how reality works, you know?
Reality.
Like, think about if you did that for your job. You know, I'm sorry, boss, like I'm having a hard day with my wife. I can't show up today. You know, I just need a day because I can't perform well because I'm in an emotional place where I just don't feel like performing well today. You know, and it's like, no, like for certain things we will push through because we have to.
That's what I say. I say, listen, I'm hurting, but I'm still serving.
Right. Yeah.
You know, I'm not perfect, but I'm still serving. You know, I don't have it all together, but listen, we're gonna help each other. You know,
right.
And I think that's the kind of stay in the game attitude that we need to have.
Yes. Yeah. 100%. And there's so much reward when we're willing to do that, when we're willing to process through and push through, you know, because it's not always about just what we're feeling in the moment, you know, like that's not where the reward comes. That's just like a part of it.
And a lot of people, you know, anybody can find excuses, or anybody can find reasons, or anybody can find what they don't like, or whatever, you know, what they're disappointed in. But guess what? Those are all excuses to sit out.
Right. Sure. Yeah.
To say, hey, you know, coach, I'm sorry. I'm a little too tired. You know, I don't want to play anymore. Yeah. And so, you know, anything that has to do with that kind of perspective, I ask myself, you know, God, what's happening here? What are you trying to show me? You know, because God's in it, and if God's in it, you have to believe that there's something developing in your life. And instead of making excuses to quit, whether it's your marriage, you know, your relationship with your kids, your business, your relationship with God, you know, you need to say, what's happening here that's going to help me to press in?
That's good. That's so good.
What's happening here that's going to help me to take another step?
Right.
And one more step, and one more day, you know?
That's so good.
And that's how you stay in the game.
That's so good.
Just one day at a time.
It's really good. Yeah. And I think it kind of, to me, it kind of takes us to the next thing that we have here, which is if we're willing to do that, we'll see that you have it written here, it turns our scars into stars.
It does.
And I think that's such a beautiful concept that I know I've seen happen in my life. I know you have too. And those of you who are listening and watching, like, you've probably already experienced that, but just remember that is something that will happen, you know, for all of us. So that those scars will be turned into those beautiful things where if you take yourself out of the game, then you don't get to see that.
You don't get to win.
Right.
You don't get to the finish line. And again, Ed Cole used to say, when the going gets tough, the tough gets going.
Yeah.
And then he also said, champions are not those who never fail, but those who never quit.
That's right. Yeah.
Stay in the game.
Yeah, that's right.
Stay in the game.
Oh, for sure.
God has a purpose.
Yeah, definitely.
Stay in the game.
I remember